I'd like to share the origins for how I've arrived at the beliefs that I have, specifically why I've come to believe in the moral imperative of the production of wealth. I hope that this can provide some guidance for others to understand how I came to believe what I believe, and why such beliefs are just given my own experiences, study, and reflection. For much of my life, there have been a few guiding principles: the pursuit of truth, admiration of the great and popular individuals of society, libertarianism, being the best, being unique, pursuing happiness, and making money. I still believe strongly in these principles, but I believe these principles have guided me ultimately to where I am today and to my beliefs regarding the production of wealth. I was raised in a secular household where there wasn't any primary scripture of morality that I was guided by. However, my parents influenced me greatly in principles of non aggression, pursuing happiness, pursuing education, and pursuing a career. In one instance of my upbringing among many, I was graced to have learned arithmetic at a very young age, which undoubtedly influenced me into becoming an engineer. But what is funny reflecting back on why I chose chemical engineering as a pursuit was that I could have easily have chosen physics or mathematics just as readily from an academically interesting standpoint. But at the time, I looked up what were the highest paid majors out of college, and around 2008, that was chemical engineering. And so I chose that. I had some degree of faith that making money served as a moral guide to what I should do. Perhaps now, given the value of programming in our current society, I probably would instead choose software engineering or computer science. However, I would be somewhat dismayed given my love for physics and chemistry. I realized at the time, right or wrong, that there was something about the nature of money that guides us in what we should do. But it would take me roughly another 8 years or so to realize that principally it isn't money that guides many of us, but that it is wealth. In college, I took a course in project engineering, which attempted to teach what are the guiding principles in how to successfully complete a project given the constraints of scope, time, and resources. One of those principles that really made an impact on me was the concept of net present value, NPV. What net present value attempts to calculate is the amount of money we will make over time given the costs of an initial investment of money. And when you do the calculation for a series of potential investment paths or projects, since we only have so much money to spend, we then choose the investment that will have the greatest net present value, the greatest return for the money that we have. These projects could be as small as, say, fixing an air conditioner, to as large as, say, purchasing a $1 billion company. So here lied a mechanism, an algorithm, through which we can calculate what we should do with the money that we have. But of course, as I will allude to further on, it's not just money, it's all of our available capital, all of our available resources, which includes our money, our property, and even our own selves, our physical bodies. The overall underlying goal of these calculations is in choosing the path that creates the greatest amount of capital, the greatest amount of wealth. Studying accounting allowed me to understand the difference between money and wealth. As I started building savings from working as a chemist, I was forced into questioning the validity of my guiding principle of making money. If my goal is to make money, then how can I justify spending money? A logical answer might be, well, I should spend money on those things that will make me more money. But if that is the case, then once I receive any significant amount of money, I will then end up spending that money on things that will make me more money. Effectively, once I receive money, it will then be spent, which effectively leaves me constantly with a small amount of money over time. In this process of receiving money and then spending money, I effectively maintain a relatively small balance of money. But if this is the case, then how the heck can I know I'm making any progress in the pursuit of making money if I'm always spending the money that I receive? Within this process, what is it that is accumulating over time if it isn't money? It is wealth. It is wealth that is accumulating over time as we spend money on things, notably property that goes on producing money. In this process of spending money once received on things that make money, wealth is accumulating. Wealth is being created. Wealth is a concept that encompasses not just money, but all of the property that we own. Wealth is the market value of property, and it is measured as in accordance with the principles of accounting as the money that people, including ourselves, spend on that property. So, as I receive money through my labor, I then spend it on investments that can appreciate in market value or generate property and services that have market value. The summation of the market value of the property I own, which is how we measure and quantify wealth, is the concept that I am trying to maximize, what I am trying to most create. So, the guiding principle of making money was then superseded by the guiding principle of making wealth. The beautiful aspect of the concept of wealth is that it encompasses all of property, all of the property that we value as human beings. Money is simply a means to how we can attain the property we desire within a free market. And so the concept of the creation of wealth is to effectively create property that we, as individuals and as a society, value. And given that human beings are a form of property, a sovereign form of property, is it not unreasonable to argue that the creation of productive, sovereign individuals is a great outcome to the moral imperative of the creation of wealth? Human beings aren't cheap. By creating wealth, we create the property that we value within society, principally of which includes human beings.